We see 3 empty spheres from the Bureau of Balance's transit cannons laying in a field outside Neverwinter. And then the camera pans up, and we see this world's final protectors amassed at the city's gates. Loop, Barry, Carrie, Killian, Angus, and Lucas stand at the forefront of this army, and they're surveying this fighting force's unconventional makeup. The survivors of Neverwinter stand armed and at the ready, with Clark and his family and the whole Battlefest crew preparing for the attack. At the center of the crowd is the wagon housing the citizens of Refuge. Ren and Cassidy are perched on top of the wagon, the former armed with her rod, the latter with a crate of industrial-strength blasting caps. A dust storm rages in from the west, and emerging from it is a fleet of battle wagon racers, with Hurley and Sloane's car leading the pack. They brake slide in perfect unison to the flanks of the army and start revving their engines. Near the back of the crowd, a squad of Tom Baudettes from Rockport are in the rear battalion, carrying chains and hammers and wrenches and any number of other industrial tools. Weaving through that crowd are the Hogsbottom 3, Tanzer, Lucian, and Scales, who are carousing and leading the Toms in a battle hymn, getting the whole unit psyched up for the battle at hand. And Loop takes a hard look at this army, and then walks toward them, pacing over to the right side of the crowd, and she goes up to a young woman holding a broomstick handle that she's crafted into a spear. And she borrows it, and she jabs it into the ground, and begins walking across the front line of this army, and she starts to speak. And as she does, the crowd falls silent. You all know the story now, right? You know what this thing is capable of? I know you're scared. This... And she motions to the army of shadows approaching them. This is scary. But we can do this. And you're going to come away from this fight with some kick-ass stories about this day. Those things over there, for a century, we have watched them take what they want to take, consume the worlds that they want to consume. And she finishes drawing her line in the ground in front of the gates of Neverwinter, and she tosses the spear back to the young woman, and she points downward and says, "That stops here." And immediately the crowd is cheering, and there are murmurs of people talking about their story, about what Loop and Barry and the rest of you did during your century-long journey. And Loop steps back to the front of the crowd and faces the hunger as it descends upon them. And she turns to Barry and she says, "Hear that, babe?" And her hands catch fire, and she says, "We're legends." And high above, we see the Star Blaster streaking through the sky, up and away from the moon base, flying for the first time into, not away from, the storm. And as its occupants brace themselves for the final battle ahead, they are surrounded by the Voidfish's light, and their hearts are stirred by the familiar music they suddenly hear. See, there's magic in a bard's song. They call it inspiration, and it tells the listener what they need to hear right when they need to hear it. And right now, you hear it too. The message in the music heard round the world. You hear Johann's voice telling you,
"You're going to have to fight. And you're gonna win!"